What though?
RKO does really kind of suck.
Telling you,
I'm not
it
gonna
ain't great.
lie. After reviewing the data on my stream, everybody was like, "Oh, RKO gets better," and I was like, "Does it? Or like,
There's,
does Florian leave actually just make RKO worse because of what gets better?"
there's that, and I also thought that the Talishar data was like completely flipped. That the way RKO decks have evolved, that it's actually kind of a good matchup. You just kind of beat the piss out of them. So I don't know.
Out of
Oh
Florian,
yeah,
you
hold on
mean?
one second.
Yeah, it was getting to the point where I felt like that matchup was like honestly favored. It wasn't even like a problem.
You did not. You did not. You son of a bitch. You did not.
Make sure. I just want to make sure it fits. Okay, there we
Oh
go.
my god. This is too good.
Yeah,
I was about to be
yeah,
like,
but
"Oh my god, like we've been talking for 45 seconds and Taylor's already having to leave like our intro." Of course this is why.
what are you talking about, dude? Oh, you're so weird.
This fucking guy, bro.
What?
I
Everybody
need
at
one. I
home
feel left
knows.
out. You know.
I was expecting you to have one also. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you all like planned this bit or something, and so I was expecting like you to also put one on at the same time.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up custom headbands. Hold on.
I kind of look like a cancer patient, to be honest.
I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, maybe that's a little too dark for the podcast.
Like, oh, I'm in remission. We're good.
I see. I see. Well, I'm glad you've made it. I'm glad you made it this far. No, I I do actually think that like RKO like does not move up at all. Like I think if anything, RKO like stays stagnant. Like it maybe falls down like a little bit, but I don't think it moves forward at all.
I think the problem is that you still have a lot of bad matchups that are, if anything, better or the same with Oscilio and Kasai. So
Yep.
Gravy's still not a great matchup. This is kind of good, um, especially now that they can't decompose defensively. So it's like that's one win, I guess. Everything else, not really thrilled to see at the top. I think.
So is there a world where RKO can like play two bells in the sideboard and like just be aggressive enough to like keep Acilio backpedaling?
If you
I
roll
think.
scabs and hit four a lot,
I also think that you could probably play like four pummels and just try to line them up as quickly as possible. Because like pummeling like a CNC or a swing big is pretty big.
I think the biggest problem I have with that matchup is that your Arcane Barrier 2 is in the head slot, and Fleshback's just kind of necessary, I feel like, to stunt the combo turn.
That's
Mm.
fair. That's
You really
Yeah,
fair.
want to
there's
give up
just
scabs.
I mean, being forced to pick between AB or like, intimidate like on the combo turn is a pretty big deal, I would say.
Yeah.
Because it makes
mhm.
it makes all of their like, oh, play two things and mind warp you so much better. Just as like
Yeah.
small value turns.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so Acilio continues to terrorize the format. Majin Bay put on a clinic in top 8. I don't like I watched
He's
that
cracked.
driving back from the calling, was watching the top 8 and like that was insane. Well, I guess I was more listening to it than anything. But like
Yeah,
I'm listening to Bryce lose his mind, like while all of this is happening and I'm like, yeah, like Majin's like Amulet of Echoes, never heard of him. Like, sorry, pal. Like, it's just
He's crazy. He's so good. Like,
it.
watching him is awesome.
It is. It's really cool to watch. Because I have to admit, I did not think his pitch stack was going to come together. Like, I was like, you can't pitch stack enough with Acilio to make it happen. And then he just dead ass proved me wrong on camera, dude. Like, I don't know. It was really cool to see. Um, yeah. So anyway, I guess we'll come back to Breakpoints episode 20, part 7 edition of episode 20 at this point. I think it's 27 or 27 this time. Let's
Think
talk
that's
about
right?
everybody's week in Flesh and Blood. Control Chill 69. Let's start with you. How about that?
man. I had a great weekend. I got some good food. On Friday, we all three of us and Noah, Aaron, and one of my locals went out and we got a really good meal. It was 12 courses. I think everyone here will agree it was a good meal.
A life altering experience. I was having a religious experience in there.
For
It was
multiple
incredible.
Oh,
people
yeah.
at the table. For multiple people at the table. Like
That's an understatement. Oh man, the coolest thing about it though was that you could just like tell them like an idea of a drink you want and they would make it for you. I thought that was really cool.
that was a
You
very
just give them
fun
a flavor
concept.
profile, and so I told the waitress I wanted spicy with a little bit of sweet, and I don't even know what went into my mouth after that, but it was so delicious. It was the most delicious drink I think I'll ever have in my life. I'll never have it again, and I'm okay with that.
It was a really cool concept. Like I got tart one time, and it was basically like the best lemonade. Like it was like if you took lemonade and just made it like 2 tiers better. It was like the best lemonade I've ever had in my life. So yeah, that was a really cool concept.
Yeah. I believe it or not, I played in the Calling. Only for one day though. I didn't. I just wanted to watch on day two. So my plan worked out perfectly. Went 4-3 on Marlin. Uh, which is like a 6-1 on Mario. So I did technically day two if I was playing Mario. So I tell myself at least.
I like it, dude. The things we tell ourselves, oh, what could have been.
I was like, yeah. I mean, the event was free if I was on Mario or a good deck or like Oscilio. But like, I wanted to stay shackled to Marlin. I was like, oh, I need to get my blazing stats up. Oh,
It's the burden we bear. It's the burden we bear.
oh yeah. Well, I had a
Waiting
great
for
time.
Compendium.
I don't think it's gonna fix any of my issues, but thank you. I think if anything, it's gonna make it worse. I'll be real with you. I was like, I'm missing so much. But I went 4-3. Met a lot of great people. Had a lot of great games in the flesh and blood. Talked to everybody. I even got some carrot cake, which we'll talk about later, which was pretty awesome. Yeah, that was a crazy one. I loved it though. It was some good ass carrot cake. I got to watch Zach be on stream and then have to talk to a man that just walked into the venue not knowing what's happening. And then I just moonwalked out of there. That was a good one.
All on camera was
Yeah.
very interesting.
I didn't know what to do. He just started like chatting. I was like, I'm not being a part of this. And I just like, like the Homer Simpson meme where he like falls into the bushes. That was me. I was like, nope,
that was exactly
I'm
you.
leaving
The best
this.
part is like, I looked at you for help, and then I turn around 20 seconds later, and you're gone. Just gone.
What do you do? What you do, man?
I don't know.
I'm
Hey, would you like to meet my friend Ted? And then just introduce him to Damien and walk off. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you could have
Oh
done
yeah,
anything.
that'd be perfect.
Like, him and Damien might have talked for half hour.
I'm pretty sure Damien didn't have any free time that day because he was playing games of Flesh and Blood on
Facts.
Fatigue Playdeez.
Facts, though. Facts, though.
He played all 8.5 hours of that tournament, but good for him for the top 8. Trust me, he told me I had to shout him out or he'd be very mad at me. So
That sounds like Damien. Extortion already.
yeah, you have no idea. But no, how about you, Sam? How was your weekend?
Very similar weekend. Of course, we went to dinner, so we all went there together. That was the same experience. It was life altering. It was incredible. Also, very similar at the Calling when 4-3 was not incredible. This was less of gravy failing me entirely and more of I think I misplayed on like a couple of small things throughout the tournament, but ultimately also got like ass blasted at the same time. My round one was versus Kasai, and that matchup I feel like is pretty even as long as you draw okay. And it was going decently, but they saw 2 spoils before blood on their hands, and then resolved 1 blood on their hands for 5, and then resolved another blood on their hands for 2 after creating 3 vigors the turn before. And the 2 was just for extra swing on both because they had draw swords, sharpen senses, slice and dice, and 2 unsheaths. So the hand went kind of insane. I set up a double ally swing with rigor mortis, thinking I would, get them to block and take the pressure off. And they said, we're just going to ignore the board and deal 27 damage to you. So that was a
Play a
hell of a
deck that does
start. And
this.
then I paired into the Katsu in round 2 that topped the event, or they ended up topping. They went to the top of the page at day 1, but I don't remember exactly where they finished.
Sam, your mic's cutting
Sam,
out
your
really
mic is
bad.
giving.
Like,
Oh,
just
no,
like,
no.
oh, okay, you're back. You're back. You played Katsu
There we
round
go,
2,
sorry.
you said?
Yeah, I played Katsu round 2, and there was the individual who kind of went on a tear on Katsu. They were on a interesting kind of list. They had just raw head jabs in there, and I was like, I don't understand, but more power to you. That
Was
was
it
a
the
super
mono
close
edge
game as
list? Was it
well.
Nia's list that made top 8?
Yeah, it was Nia's. Yeah.
Okay.
So that game was really, really tight as well. I think if I squeaked out 2 more points of damage, I actually win that game because I start pulling cards from hand a turn earlier, and then they don't get hit by the wombo combo. So super tight, and then I snapped off 4 in a row versus the Mirror, Verdance, a Victor, and a Dash.io, and then I hit Prism. And if you play Gravy these days, it's really hard to beat a Prism that understands the matchup at all. Both of the times I took my pivot turn to try to fully take tempo back, they happened to draw the Erudition. We're able to just block 6, hit my ally, and then still have a full turn with the Erudition.
Wow.
So it didn't go great. But my opponent, the Prism, said this is the first time they ever debuted an event, which was super cool. I was very happy for them, at least. They were very happy. So I remember doing that the first time, and it was super awesome. So
Yeah.
glad they got to experience that. And then that night we went out to Wario's, which is not just a character for that is Mario's arch nemesis. That's also a
Dude,
restaurant.
Oh, by the way, did you know that we punted that? I did
went
some
there on
research.
your recommendation, and I wasn't told to get anything specific.
Yeah, no. I found out. It wasn't my recommendation. It was Aaron's. I never heard the place before we went. Do you know Guy Fieri or Fieri, whatever his name is, has a whole entire episode devoted to that place?
Oh.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. And apparently they're famous for their was it Caesar salad chicken wrap. Not their Philly that we had. That was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, the food we got was still pretty good. So I mean, punt maybe. I'll tell you what, the potatoes and the garlic caramelized onion aioli. Woo! That hit. That was slapping.
Dinner Saturday
Nothing
was
was
good as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing was funnier than waking up Sunday morning because 2 people that we roomed with, that I roomed with, day 2, and I wake up and Drew, our teammate, is sitting at our table at 6:45 just eating the potatoes, just in the morning, just straight up eating them. I was like,
that's awesome.
I was like, oh man,
that's awesome.
I was like, dude, that's a breakfast of champions right there. That's a deep run.
That's so good, dude. That's so good.
It wasn't a deep run.
Unfortunately not. But yeah, that was the end of my run in Columbus because I just went home on Sunday after that. Did day 2, and I had absolutely no interest in playing Chain RNG Simulator all day. Still waiting for them to turn Sage into the full format here in a couple of weeks, which we're getting kind of close now. There's about
we're almost there.
11 days for full spoilers, pretty much. 11, 12 days.
Yeah.
So very excited to finally get these spoilers coming in. All right, Zach, you're the only one of the 3 of us losers, I guess, to day 2.
I don't know why when you guys day 2 tournaments, I don't, and when I day 2 tournaments, you guys don't. I really hope there's not a continuing trend here. I played Victor in Columbus and went 5-2 day 1. I did have a feature match round 7 of the Calling, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's pretty cool. Played against an OG KO. You can actually physically see me talking to the person who wandered into the feature match area who was not a player. I don't really know what happened there. It was pretty odd. But made day 2 and then ended up going 3-2 on day 2 to finish 8-4. Finished 24th, got some cash. Lost to Justin Koo on Gravy day 2. Lost to Noah Bagelman playing Florian on day 2. Noah's strategy of being more aggressive into me as opposed to like trying to play the like mid-rangey guardian game with me was a very good strategy, and it panned out very well. When you pair that with a couple germinates at the end of the game, it was pretty powerful. So Noah played it really well. But it was a good weekend. I mean, like we needed to dodge Gravy and Verdance, and I played 1 Gravy, 0 Verdance all weekend. I would say it was, a good matchup spread. Just, lost a couple of games along the way and not completely disappointed with top 32. Would like to top 8 one of these things, but we'll keep chipping away and keep getting there. Dinner on Friday night was phenomenal. Dinner on Saturday was also really good. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law live in Columbus, and I got to hang out with them on Saturday. And so we went to what's called CM Chicken, and it's like Korean fried chicken. It is KFC, which is hilarious to me. But it was delicious. It was so tasty. And then my boys, Kevin and Will, over at the Table Pit, hooked me up with this dope Hawaiian shirt. Merch from their channel. So we're repping that tonight on stream and everything, and tonight on the podcast. So it was a good weekend. I don't know. I'm playing Prism at an RTN this weekend, and I am terrified. I am absolutely terrified. I feel like we are walking into a 1-4 RTN for me this weekend.
So, well, with the results of Columbus being what they were and this Playdeez deck fully hitting the map, we tried to warn you all last week about this deck, and it fully came to fruition, which, I guess, quick aside, I was shocked by the amount of people in that room that didn't know this deck existed. I, heard so many people like, have you seen this Fatigue Playdeez deck? Running around. I'm like, I mean, I literally played it about a month ago at Armory. I've known this thing's existed for a while. So it's kind of, it's always shocking to me when people don't know about this deck.
They don't listen to the podcast.
Well,
There's
That's
that.
on them.
I think Taylor mentioned it. I don't remember what episode it was, but there's been a couple episodes where I think Taylor has mentioned that, it just makes you realize how entrenched we are in the game, how much we are constantly keeping up with things and talking to people and learning about new ideas. And, maybe not everybody has that chance. I do agree with you, Sam. Somebody asked me tonight how surprised I was to see it do well. And I was like, dog, I've been playing the deck with Damien for the last month. I was like, I knew about it weeks ago before Christmas. But not everybody has that privilege. So, I get that that's something that we have the joy of being able to do on a week-to-week basis.
It's just it's an expectation I guess I have of someone who's attending the calling to, even some people that I think are on teams, my not to call them out or anything, but my Katsu opponent Nia lost to the Pleiades deck round 1 because they didn't know that it was a fatigue deck.
Interesting.
They thought it was just confidence, and they didn't bring in any of their fatigue package. We were talking about it right before we played our game, and they were like, "Yeah, I probably would have got there if I just boarded in these other 6 2-for-6s out of my deck. I would have killed them." So,
no, I mean, I get it. It's. I feel like it is one of those. This is one of those decks that was so caught up in our area, if that makes any sense. I would say within about 5 to 6 hours of the Atlanta area, that was where everybody seemed to know about this deck. Whether, you knew Damien or you were at Battle Hard in Atlanta, because Randy and Thomas top 8'd the week before. Honestly, I think, we gave shout out to Damien, and I'm super happy for Damien because he has worked on this deck so much. But I want to talk about Thomas for a second. Thomas has worked on him with this deck basically since day 1. And Thomas top 8'd Battle Hard in Atlanta and then calling Columbus back-to-back weekends. That is really impressive run. So, if you are watching this and you did not listen last week, which it sounds like some of you didn't, Fatigue Pleiades is real. You will play against Fatiguades. And when it happens, I am encouraging everybody to say Fatiguades nuts to your opponent just to rub salt in the wound. All right. I'm off my box now.
True story, though. In the calling, I think it was around 4 or 5, I said across from my opponent, and they're like, "Oh, I'm on Playdeez," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna be one of those games." And then, a minute passes, I'm shuffling all my cards into my deck, shuffling. The guy goes, "Oh wait, I think I have the wrong table." And he looks down his phone. and he's the table over, and the guy beside us just goes, just eyes rolling in the back of his head. I was like,
Oh,
let's do it, baby. We've dodged a bullet.
I mean, let's be real. You either like playing Fatigue or you hate Fatigue in every capacity. Like, I don't feel like there are many other options. Like, I may or may not have had a small rant about that on my stream tonight. May or may not about Fatigue.
I mean,
But
to be fair, like I think that people like Flesh and Blood for its interactivity a lot of the time. You feel like you're kind of in this song and dance with your opponent a lot of times, kind of trading back and forth tempo or whatever you want to call it. So when you completely jackknife the, I guess, like substance of the game like that, you know, some people I'm sure have an adverse reaction to that, and some people love it. It's it's something that is super polarizing in this space, and I think that a big problem with that is that people don't like sit down and put the time in on their decks to be like, okay, what is my plan into Fatigue? Because if you have a solid plan, I mean, I personally get a ton of joy out of enacting that plan and like having a game plan come fully through to success. It feels like I've accomplished my goal for that game, that I've like had a merit-based win. It's very evident when you actually pull it off that it was like you did it, you know? There's no question. So maybe it's like a matter of perspective for some people. Maybe, you know, if you feel like it's not a matter of skill to beat a fatigue deck, maybe I would encourage you to have like a little bit of a different opinion and like think back like how, you know, you can play things kind of differently and maximize value out of your deck.
I mean, I think there are a lot
Okay.
of decks that have an anti-fatigue plan. You know, like, and I'm going to use Taylor as a really good example here. Is that like I I would never have guessed that Marlin would have a very good anti-fatigue plan, because in the past, Rangers have not had a great anti-fatigue plan other than just like run your ass over. But like Marlin, you know, with like authority and riches and stuff like that, like you can have a pretty solid anti-fatigue plan with overpower and stuff to close out games. So I don't know, like I think that like you can definitely try to like reach deep and play an anti-fatigue plan. But to Sam's point, like it can be not very fun to play against fatigue because all your opponent's doing is blocking the entire game. And as someone who has played Oldham, Victor, like, you know, all these fatigue decks, like I get it. It's not a ton of fun to play against, but I do think it's an important skill to have. You need to be able to pass that skill check at events, or you're always kind of walking through the door down a peg, if that makes any sense.
I agree.
Sometimes I think those game plans are actually extremely fun. On the contrary, like we bring up Ranger being a very like not having a lot of like fatigue answers, but I started the game playing Lexi pretty much, and Lexi versus Guardian having she had like one of the sickest answers to fatigue where you just like play your 3 oak, pass, play your 3 oak, pass, and then just hit them with like an 8 card hand was like the sickest thing you could do. What are you looking at me like that, Taylor?
When in the fuck did we do that?
I'm also curious because I never had a
I
Lexi
won a
player
battle
beat me
hardened.
ever.
I literally won a battle harden and a finalist of a calling in like 2 weeks, and I've never done that into fatigue. I just pitched
Something I
Codex of
did.
Inertia right next to a Death Touch, and then I played Codex of Inertia and play a Death Touch, and I hit them with it. I have never done what you just said.
So this is something that I learned how to do. Maybe, you know, I was new back then, so maybe this wasn't the most popular way to do it. But the Guardian decks back then that just fatigued you by like throwing hammer, you could just pitch stack all 3 of your 3 oaks, Rain Razors, and just come in for like a trillion, because you'd play a 3 oak, you pass, you play the next 3 oak, pass, and you just like keep on having this like huge hand, and you just vomit the whole thing onto the board.
This feels like a fever dream of something you think might have been good.
Maybe it was. It was something that was super cool back when. You know,
There's no way that you're like Bravo's just gonna be like, you know what? Anathos with my 4 card hand, pass. You're like, you got me.
Well, the
that
thing
is
that
like quite
throws
literally
me-
all they could do.
it's
Man,
it's, like
your locals are soft, Sam.
so man, I hate to side with Taylor here, but like dog, like when I played Oldham back then, I was like trying to like counter stack spinals and command and conquerors and like doing anything I could to disrupt you, like
Dude,
if it didn't line up.
Dude,
So like
dude, Zach would just be like, tunic endless, tunic endless, tunic endless.
Man,
Like,
like
oh,
I'm
stop it,
not gonna
dude.
lie, like it kind of sounds like a wet dream for Oldham if you just play three of a kind and pass. But you
Yeah,
are
I was like,
right that like if we get through those 3 turns and I'm unable to do anything to you, you are going ham. I mean, you probably have like what 8 cards at that point. Like, I mean, you kind
Yeah,
of
it was
go
awesome.
crazy. I
Yeah,
yeah,
kind
but
of
it was
want to
that,
just
really
play
sick.
LL and try to do that to somebody now. Like that kind of sounds cool. I might just like goof around on
This
Talishar
wasn't
this
like
week.
yeah, this wasn't something I like took to a calling and won games with. This is just something I was doing at like Armories because it was a cool anti-fatigue strategy I was able to do. Back when I just started, this is like something I was trying to learn how to do myself.
I
okay, I
like
was
it.
make sure that you weren't gaslighting me. I am looking at the last versions of Oldham before he LL'd, and they were on 4 Pummel, Red Glacial, 3 Oaken, 3 Spinal, 3 Endless, 3 Command and Conquer. You ain't just doing nothing and passing. That deck is gonna beat the shit out of you. That deck is beating the shit out of you.
Oh, Taylor has taken this personally.
No, because it's like it was kind of like whenever I was teaching Aaron how to play Lexi, he's like, "How do you beat fatigue?" And it's like, "Well, you're gonna pitch Codex of Inertia." He's like, "Don't you just pitch deck 3 Oak Rain Razor?" I'm like, "No, no, that's not how any of this works." I was like, the only answer to Oldham was Inertia, Codex of Inertia. You played 3, you played Death Touch, and you killed him.
Codex of Inertia was super obnoxious.
Oh yeah, it was, baby. Oh, dude. Oh, I think we played a Lexi Oldham game a couple times.
We did. I think we played like at. I think we played in an RTN or something one time. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I remember having a lightning press rain razor as a drill shot against you.
yeah, that was like one of the only games I
Yeah,
ever lost my Rampart, and that was like on turn 4 or something when you
yeah.
did it to me too. Like, it was really bad.
I had to get up and go to the bathroom because I was crying because I was like, "Oh my god, I won the fucking game! Oh my god."
Okay, all right. So
He just lost 45 life.
now that we're done hazing Sam, we should probably jump into our actual like topics here. We can always haze Sam later. Okay, so we talked about our weekend, the fun dinner. We talked about Columbus. We've got Florian LL on here. I guess let's talk about some of the deck like win rate conversions and like what things looked like from the weekend. So if you take RTN data and Columbus data, it does look like RKO did not look very good, which we talked about briefly at the beginning. We talked about RKO a little bit, and even post Florian RKO still doesn't look that good. But where does Verdant stand for you guys?
I think Verdance will get on the uptick because people want to play their fellings and plows and not play a bad hero like Jarl.
Okay.
I don't know. This deck still kind of sucks. I don't see a reason to play Verdance right now, other than like you can beat Pleiades with it. It's just
It depends on who you ask about Pleiades.
So the
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
part
You can
is if
do
you're
some
not on the
things.
right
Yeah.
plan, you won't beat Pleiades with that deck either.
Yeah, you have to know what's up.
I mean, you,
Uh,
you do have. I watched Jason Watkins, who's on the Runaways, like not be able to beat Randy playing that deck. So like, I mean, I don't think it's as free as like we make it out to be.
No, it's not 100%. I'll put context to it. I don't think it's like 80% of the time you're gonna win without like doing anything special. Like you still have to enact a very, I think, careful game plan, and it's not gonna even come together all the time. But I do think it's still a good matchup for Verdance. I don't think
Fair.
it's like 80%, but like I'd say it's like 60.
I'd say it's favored. Like, especially like this is gonna sound weird, but like right now with the way the Fatiguities deck is, put together, you're probably better off playing like Surgent right now. And I think that's one of the things that like is gonna like bring back a little bit of Verdant's popularity is that Surgent combo is like kind of good in the meta right now. There is a lot of like slower, grindy or mid-rangey decks. It kind of feels like it just kind of feels like the meta has navigated that direction. And trust me, it breaks my heart in half to have to say this because I hope Verdance goes away and never comes back. I hate playing against that crap. But like I don't know, like it just feels like Surgent combo is actually just really good right now.
only like 250 points away from her being gone too, and if she keeps winning all these RTNs and PQ season rolls around, she probably won't even make it like another 3 months.
So I guess let's break this down like we did previously. In a previous episode, we talked about, how do you feel like this deck lines up at an RTN versus how do you feel like this deck lines up at a calling? So for people, listening who haven't seen the data, Verdance had a 0% conversion rate out of 12 people playing it at Columbus to day 2. There were 12 people day 1 playing Verdance, 0 people made it to day 2 playing Verdance. I don't know how many were X3, I don't know how close that was. Verdance, on the other side of that coin, won the 3rd most amount of RTNs this weekend at 11. So, like, a good number of RTNs were won this weekend. Sam, you go first. I want to hear your thoughts first, because you guys had very different takes. I'm going to go last. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think Verdance is a good RTN pick? And then second question, do you think Verdance is a good, calling pick?
Yes, it's a good RTN pick. No, it's not a good calling deck, and I'll explain why. Verdance at the RTN level, you get a ton of equity out of being a turn ahead at the RTN level. You're going to get a lot of people that don't properly play around getting the Stormstrider's range and kind of understand that you can pivot to just send like a ton of damage and then put them in range if you just like sit on an E-Strike or a Felling and wait for the other and just send like 13 with a good portion of it being kind of unblockable later in the game, or if you like land a Ring of Roses and claw your way back. I also think that her worst matchup by far is Gravy, and at the RTN level, you can absolutely hose some Gravies. It's just how it is. Especially if you get lucky and put a ring out early, that matchup is very playable at that point, even without the root bound. Well, that may be a little bit strong, but it's a lot more playable against someone who's not playing the deck at like 100%. So when you get to the calling, the margins get a lot thinner, especially when we get towards like converting to day 2 and people that are all kind of like more versed in these matchups. They can kind of understand that, before you actually get online, sticking the rigor mortis is like insanely difficult for Verdance to deal with outside of like Scar for a Scar, and even that feels terrible, so it's not great. I also think that the way that Florian decks had trended, they were better and better and better into Verdance, and obviously that's not really a factor anymore, but up until this point, that was something that really hammered down what used to be, I think, a more Verdance favored matchup.
Okay. Taylor?
What about you, Taylor?
I think with the biggest thing is Florian leaving the meta. With Florian leaving the meta, it's going to leave a big hole in the you must be this tall to ride game. I think you want to look at Florian's matchups and see what decks are gaining and losing the most from that. So if you look at the data, this is Talishar data. I could use the calling data, but I would rather use a bigger sample, 2,000 or 3,000 games to get a better idea instead of 20. Florian was beating up on Mario's, KO's, 50, almost 50% into Gravy, which I can kind of understand with CMHs and trees. He was keeping down Kasai's, and he was also keeping down like RKO's. If you look at Verdance, Verdance has this really good ability where she's a little bit worse than Florian, but in theory, she's kind of doing the same things majority of the time, except for she has the Stormstrider's end, and she's a lot worse. She doesn't have the one card hand that Florian does, and that's the real downtick. But if you want to think about it like this, though, her good matchups are going to be like Kasai. She's really good into Kasai. She's decent into Mario. She's good into KO, which are all these heroes got buffs by Florian leaving. So I think because Florian is leaving, a lot of the heroes can try to take up that power. The percentage of the meta that he was taking, and in turn, those are the decks that she can prey upon. So I think she's actually. I actually think she gets better post Florian.
At both the RTN level and the calling level?
Yeah. I mean, you can't be worse than 0%. So
yeah.
you can only go up from here. But
Facts.
I do expect like a 30-35% conversion rate, just because she'll get paired into Fangs, into Kasai's, into even like KO's, and Mario's, which she has good matchups all into if you both players are playing well.
35%? That seems kind of like a crazy crackback.
Yeah, I mean that's what I expect those because people start going, oh, I can start playing goober decks. I don't need this. I don't need to play. Verdance ain't going to be good, and then you play Victor, and then Verdance is there, and you go, fuck.
It do be like that sometimes. It do be like that
Uh,
sometimes. I gotta tell you,
That's
walking into an event hall and knowing there's 0 verdants in the room on a Sunday, that's something that feels good as a Victor player. Like,
oh, let me tell you something though. This is my little rant. Great guy. I played against a really nice fella, round 1, and I just thought this was the most mind-boggling. I'm on Marlin, he's on Verdance. I'm like, okay, this is a 50-50. I get to go first. I feel good. I do my whole little great Marlin thing. I shoot 10 overpower. They block with like a Blue Autumn's Touch. And they're like, okay, on the on hit. Fruits, Everbloom, Sigil Solace. I have never wanted to cry as much as I did right there in my seat. Oh my gosh. I've never shot 10 overpower and they're like, oh, I'm at 39. I'm like, and then turn 1, felling the crowd. Just natty. I'm just like, dude, my hand was in my head. I was crying. Cause this is round 1 of the calling, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling great on the deck. And then that happened. I was like, I was so tilted.
so all of this is like 9:15. Like, we've not even gotten out of
Oh,
round 1.
Yeah. I went first. So this is his literal first turn of the calling is an online felling. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go fuck myself.
That's tough, dude. Admittedly, that's tough.
I was in shambles. I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those callings.
With Florian leaving, do you think that leaves a vacuum for Armed and Dangerous to actually be good yet?
No, dude, that deck fucking is so ass.
So,
Dude, so bad.
Every time I want to play this deck, I think it's good, and it's just terrible.
There are 2 things. I do think that Florian was one of the only things keeping Mario in check, and I think Taylor kind of mentioned that a little bit, was that with Florian keeping Mario in check, it seems like Mario is just quote unquote the best deck right now. Like, that is like what week 4 tells me. I'm serious. Like, I know that's like kind of crazy, but I talked about it on my stream, and like my gut tells me that like Mario just feels like B-diff for week 4 of RTN season. And maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm coping, maybe Mario jumps down to like 5 wins or something crazy, and I'm just dead wrong. But if Verdance sees an uptick, and Mario is one of the better decks, then I mean that's a good matchup for Verdance. So that could be one of the reasons that we see Verdance perform very well this week. You all mentioned KO. I like Armed and Dangerous. I think Armed and Dangerous is a coat pick. Like, I know that it's like won a fair number of RTNs, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Guardian and I don't want to play against it. If I were saying that, I would tell you not to play Verdance, that it's terrible. But I don't know. Like, I think KO still, like, if you look at the Fablazing data on KO Armed and Dangerous, it still has like some really bad matchups of popular decks in the meta, like unfavored, even if it's just a little bit. And so I think that makes like KOAD just like a coat pick, unless you are just like a KO stan, I guess.
What are you still happy to see when you register KO? I feel like you're not exactly happy to see Verts, obviously. Kasai. I don't think you're happy to see Gravy.
I don't
You're
think
not
you're
happy
happy to see
Mario?
Syndra.
Yes, like I think Mario's
Syndra,
like close to 50-50.
Fang,
Yeah, there's like
RKO,
I mean,
Victor. Hold on, I'm not done
hold
yet.
on.
Vincent. I mean, you're not happy to see Slippy statistically?
yeah.
I think you're pretty happy to see Victor. I don't know about that one. We'll push back.
I mean, no. Even despite what my feature match game would tell you from this past weekend, I am with Sam. That is an unfavored matchup. Like KO is favored that matchup. But
well, I'm looking at the data from the last 2 callings, and the deck has went 3 and 8 into it. Into
That's
Victor.
crazy work. Wow.
I'm just look, man. I'm just reading data.
Oh yeah, baby.
I mean,
Y'all,
like
y'all can interpret it any way y'all want.
I mean, it's data, but it's 11 games. Like, we had color with, like, small sample size, you know? This isn't 3,000 games.
Hold on. I'm going to the 3,000 game data set now.
Yes,
So
we can all.
I would like to see both. I would like to know both.
If you would like to also track these wonderful stats, you should head over to fablazing.com. That's where we're getting all this data from. They're the people who track all this stuff. And if you do want to keep track of how you're doing at these tournaments, you can always go and check out in the description below. We have a link to Codex journals, the breakpoints version. We've got this sweet little bad boy right here. Great place to keep track of how awful you get ass blasted round 1 and 2 of a calling.
We gotta talk. We gotta talk. We gotta talk about your selling points, Sam. I don't know that that's what Thomas had in mind when he wanted us to talk about the journal.
But realistically, if you do, lose a game, you want to know why. You probably want to write it down, improve on it later. It's a great place to do that. Maybe I'm being a little facetious by saying I got ass blasted the first couple rounds of the calling, but it is what it is.
I will say, since the episode where we said we use it as mental warfare, I have had multiple people at Columbus and in Atlanta. They would be like, "What are you writing down? Are you writing down that you're favored?" Like immediately would ask me that question. It's just so funny to see now.
Okay, I want to mention something. Can you look in the Codex journal? Is the left side unfavored and the right side's favored?
Yes.
Okay, I was making sure because you played against Justin Koo, and I looked down and I swear to God, I thought you put your favored in that matchup, and I'm like directly behind you. I'm like,
No, I put 30%, which I think was being generous.
Okay, because I know it was near the center, and I was like,
no, I
he's feeling good.
I put what I thought was the 30%, and you are right. In my head, I was like, we're manifesting some win percentage points right now.
I'm like directly behind you. I'm like, did he just? Was it near the center? I'm like, I was like, oh my God.
Taylor's like, oh, he's full coping. He is full jamming himself in the top 8 right now.
Just because you're at the front row of the calling now doesn't mean that you just can beat everything. I'm just like,
listen, I gotta tell you guys, if I had won that game against Justin Koo, I would have been insufferable. I'd have been like, oh, there's no stopping me. I'm all the way up.
No,
okay,
no,
I don't
want to that really hard because when you put in a lot of time into a shit matchup and you get there, and it's an important game, you feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah,
I totally
for
get
real.
it.
I don't want to salt the wound. There wasn't out there. There wasn't out.
Shut up. Balance of Justice.
Okay.
Nobody even knows what that card does, Taylor. Shut up.
I just make sure.
Dude, I talked about it on the stream tonight. So for anybody who didn't catch the stream, there was a turn where Justin activates Hook and throws Conqueror of the High Seas at me. I have nothing in Arsenal. And in my head, I never processed that he activated Hook. So in my head, this is 8 that I don't have to block. And I'm waiting for the hook on something else. So I had already pitched Riches with Tropodoni to Flexors. If I give him Test of Iron Grip, I snipe his last card, I block Flexors, and I block Balance, and then I draw into E-Strike to be able to clear both allies. Justin has nothing on board, no gold, and he has 1 ally in the bin, and we are reset with me above 15 life. I actually think I might win the game from there. I don't know for sure because Balance and Flexors are gone, and Whaler was still left in the deck, and I was at 15. But there was a real chance. But there was a real chance I could have made it happen from there. So yeah,
dude,
always pay attention to what your opponent's doing. And I would like to clarify. I said this on stream. That is in no way a shot towards Justin. I did ask him to say it louder because I don't think I heard him or processed it. But that's not on Justin. He said it. Taylor confirmed he said it. He activated it. He moved it. He did all the things he's supposed to do. My brain just lapsed. And that might have cost me my game. So pay attention.
I really wanted you to top 8 and then beat Damien in the top 8.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know how insufferable I would have been. I'd have been texting him on the way home. How'd it feel to leave before me, big guy? How'd it feel to leave before me, big guy? I mean, oh, dude. Which is funny because Damien actually beat me day 1 of the calling. Okay.
Yeah, but from what I've been told, that was a series of unfortunate events.
It was pretty bad. 5 ripple aways was wild. 5 ripple aways on Gold Band Estates was wild.
Ban it, LSS. I'm tired of these hand traps.
Ban ripple away. I'm in. Ban it. Get it out of here. Puffin gets stonks. Get it out of here.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah,
upset
yeah. 'Cause
about it, but I also feel like they probably shouldn't get rid of that card. I think
No, they should
it's a decent
100%.
failsafe.
They should 100% not ban this card. I'm just salting for
Yeah.
no reason right now.
You know what card they should ban? And maybe they finally will.
Remembrance.
It's Remembrance.
Yeah, agreed. That game promotes like toxic game states. They should ban that card.
here's the issue. I think if they ban Remembrance, they also need to ban Pedestal. I know that's an insane statement, but I think that's a
Well, like, so here's why I agree with that statement. It's not even really because Pedestal is like egregious in and of itself, and that it just turns one card into two, just like Call for Backup. It's really problematic if Cries and Pedestal are ever like top of the meta. Like those are really, really toxic cards. If there's anything that kind of breaks that combo is very good. Right now, the best thing you can like really do is loop Cries and Pedestal, and then you get to loop in like one extra aura, which is normally like a Hungry for More or something like that. And that's oftentimes not even worthwhile. Like the Fatigue Pleiades deck isn't even running it. But if you ever get an aura that is that good and makes that loop worthwhile, it's gonna be really toxic.
okay. Here's my critique on the card then. So it's different than yours, which is kind of cool. I actually don't like it because I think it's going to limit the space in which you can print Guardian cards at. I think like being able to play your like 15 Righteous Cleansings in a game is not a good place to be. Because I literally watched, I think I counted 10 Righteous Cleansings and 4 Pulverizes in a single game.
I'm pretty sure in the stream game, at least the first one. I don't remember if it's the first or the second. I'm pretty sure it's the first one. Damien played the Righteous Cleansing. I think it was 5 turns in a row at the end of the game after blocking with it 2 or 3 times. So, yeah,
That's my issue. It's like
I get that. I get that. That's correct.
I think the thing that makes it worse with up on a pedestal too is like you're putting it on top. At least Remembrance is a shuffle. Like you're ripping into it to continue that like abusive chain going.
Yeah,
100%.
But the way that the deck like uses the card is awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
With like the clashing. Yeah.
As it exists right now, I don't think it's a problem in and of itself. But I do agree with that. Like in if you ever give like, let's say they print a Boulder Drop that comes in for 8, and now it's like bananas. Just a 2-card 8. Get rid of a card from your hand if you don't give me like 5.
Long term, it's going to be annoying.
Yeah, you can't ever print like. I mean, that's like a pretty abusive card already. But if they ever print anything like even in the realm of that, it gets dangerous fast. So yeah, I feel you.
Being able to block with Test of Iron Grip and then play up on a pedestal with a trigger on the stack might be one of the coolest things you can do. Like, that's actually a super juice play.
Yeah, the mechanics of the deck is really cool, and it all comes together in a way that you wouldn't expect until you've played it. Like, the first time I looked at this deck, I was like, this is the shittest deck I've seen in my life. This looks like just A+ draft chaff we just threw into a deck.
Okay. To be fair, me and you both were on the same team as Damien for about a year, and he played this exact deck, but in Victor and without any of the good cards.
Yeah,
this is just the evolution of Clash Victor.
Yeah,
this is just like the big boy upgrade.
Facts. Makes sense.
Think about it though. The more you think about it, like I started thinking about it, I was like, wow, this is just Clash Victor.
Yeah.
Except for with Pedestal.
Except you can run a lot of good cards because you can manipulate your top deck, so you can run Sink Below and Oasis and Sigil.
You're not confined to the deck building restraints that Victor has.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a huge, huge deal. Like, if you give Victor the same amount of oomph that you already have with Clashes, let's just say, like, you go down to, like, 60% hit rate in your Clashes, but you never miss. Isn't that insane?
Oh, you'd be unstoppable. You might, if you could greed and play all that nonsense and still hit, you would be unstoppable.
So the last time I checked the Playdeez deck, the way it's at right now, if you blind rip off the top, it's a 52% chance to be a 6 or higher. Just like at the start of the game. If you block with one of the Clash cards that makes a toughness, and you bottom the card that's on top, you're now up to a 74% chance. So,
interesting.
To give you an idea of like the power level that kind of entails, it's pretty dramatic because you don't care at all if you give your opponent a toughness token. You're just trying to get cards out of their deck, so they're blocking. You're happy.
Right. So here's a really interesting question. Now that the Fatigue Pleiades deck is like widely known, like I thought it was, like a pretty good kept secret about a month ago. Now, 2 weeks ago, I would have told you it was pretty known by the most part. Now, I would say it's out there. Like, I think that 2 in the top 8 of the calling. Do you guys think Fatiguities is still a good pick going into week 4 of RTN? Or would you
RTN?
pivot?
Oh, I wouldn't. I would, if I have less than like 150 games on this deck, I wouldn't play it if I was trying to win. But like if I'm trying to learn the deck, yeah, I'd bring it to an RTN. Like I wouldn't be fully prepped because the deck is like super complicated. It's like in-game situations are like it's hard as hell to play. Like even just playing Remembrance in the deck is oddly complicated because it depends on the board state. It depends on what's in your opponent's deck, what's their end game to your end game. So it's like into Florian, it's like of course you're getting the ripples, and then you maybe get like something else. So it's like it's all super dependent. So if I wanted to start learning the deck, I'd play it. But if I wanted to win the RTN next week, I wouldn't be picking it up on Tuesday before the RTN and shuffling it up to go.
Okay.
Say even further than that, if you're taking this to an RTN and you haven't put 100 games on it, I imagine you're going to get a lot of draws.
Yes.
And that is not a recipe for winning an RTN.
Yep. That checks out.
Yeah, watching Thomas and Damien play this weekend, they were by far the faster of the 2 players in the seats. They were.
How it's supposed to be for fatigue decks. You got to play fast. You've got to understand immediately what you're doing, or you're not going to make it. Like, even when I'm playing the Gravy Mirror, you have to be, I think, fairly expeditious with your decisions a lot of the time. If neither of you are high rolling and you're both playing in the clear ally game kind of back and forth, you'll go to time. So it's just something you have to understand when you're fatiguing or being fatigued. You kind of have to play at a decent rate. And not understanding your deck is going to mean that you're going to take more time making decisions. You're going to possibly lead to more draws.
Yeah, I mean, as the fatigue player, you have to play very fast every turn because the other player is the person who has to pass the skill check most of the time, not you. So you have to give them the room to have a turn or two throughout the game where they have to tank and they have to figure out like what the best line is. So you have to be on top of it. Speaking of, bring back Crown of Seeds. Anyway.
Oh. Actually, yes, make Verdance good again.
I think this is ironically a decent segue into next topic for us. When you have the ban and restricted we had right before essentially this RTN season, where you kind of bring the ceiling down on a lot of these decks, I guess the ceiling and the floor, you kind of bring a power vacuum into the meta, I guess, for the most part, where these decks aren't quite as strong as they were. They weren't even all that powerful, I think, beforehand. In terms of like raw strength of decks that we've seen in Fab, I think it's they're powerful, but not anywhere like this. This isn't Aurora power level anymore. This isn't MSD power level anymore. So when this vacuum enters a format and you now have room for fatigue decks like this, is it time to upgrade the power level in Fab? Is that the solution to this? Because I think we're kind of entering an even more problematic state, introducing another gatekeeper being removed in Florian from decks that kind of like to dirtle.
Okay. Me and Aaron and Drew and Ryan had this conversation on the way back. Like this almost the exact one. It's great you bring it up because I think we had a big realization. I don't actually think the game is powering down as much as you think. I think what's happening is that there's just less aggro decks, so all the decks look more dirtily. But like if you took Aurora versus like Fatigue Pleiades, I'm pretty sure that the Pleiades would destroy it. Or like if you took Victor now into Aurora, it would destroy it with Test of Iron Grip. So the deck's not getting. Oh, what does that look for, Sam?
Destroy it? I don't know. That's kind of strong.
Dude, with Test of Iron Grip into Aurora, dude, that matchup was miserable beforehand. Now with that?
So I will say to Taylor's point, Victor was already favored. Like you
Yeah.
had to set up like Flicker Wisp, Arc Lightning, CLV, like second cycle, and like a solid hand to kill them. And then you had to be able to get back to it without them running you over. And that was before grip. I mean, I think that grip actually dramatically changes the entire pace of the game. We're literally talking about a 4 block that pummels, like when you block with it. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know that in like the sense of like destroys them. Like I think it's closer than that, but I mean I do think that is like easily like a 70-30 matchup for Aurora, like not in Aurora's favor, just to clarify.
Yeah.
So
It
here's yeah, I like the problem I have is destroy, because I think that if this was a
70% is a
problem,
lot.
if this was a problem, I feel like you could just play the full combo in the sideboard. Like I mean, like the full combo, like Aetherweave and Dominion, and go like absolute bananas turn, and then one grip out of the hand probably isn't good enough.
Okay, well then, like, let's look at Fatigue Pleiades. It would just set up a righteous cleansing loop at your end game, and you could never pitch stack it.
I think Playdeez is a
You
lot harder to get there than Victor is. I think Victor has a lot more play in the intermediary of that game, where you have like tests of strengths to slow them down, where Playdeez doesn't really have that. It's just the grips.
see, I just think what's happening is that all of the aggro decks are just way worse than they were, but all the dirtily and control decks are exactly the same as they were, power wise. So the deck just looks dirtily. Just simple as that. It's like if Aurora was back in the meta, it would change the meta. It would be a very good deck. I don't think it would be best deck.
So I think that what Sam said was that like Victor has more play because of the like meddling turns, like the middle like round of turns of Victor are like kind of just like block with a test of strength or throw a boulder drop and like kind of force some like awkward blocks. But I think the difference between where Victor and Pleiades gain value is that Pleiades gains value in life gain. And Victor never gains life. You're all about keeping cards fueled in your hand. That is your quote unquote life gain. But I think that between like Sigils, Fiddler's Green, Oasis Respites, I do think there is plenty of opportunities for Pleiades to still win that matchup consistently. Is it 70-30? It's probably closer to like, I mean, it's probably still like at least 60-40, I would say. I don't know, man. Like as someone who loved Aurora and played against like CYB new and like some pretty like crazy fatigue decks, like Victor was always one of the worst matchups we had in the format as Aurora. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think
That's what I'm saying. That
Destroy might be more accurate than you think here, Sam. I'm gonna be honest, man.
yeah, I really don't like. I don't think the power level is actually going down as much as you think. I think what it really is they are banning some consistency cards, but these decks would have destroyed older metas. Because there's no way that Lexi meta, like if you put a full power Victor now in Lexi meta,
Oh no,
Lexi would have.
that's
But
totally yeah.
but that's what I'm saying though. Is like I don't think that we're actually going down in power level. I think just the defensive capabilities of decks are going up, which makes the format look weaker. But in reality, if you put it against some older decks, they would just destroy them.
Well, so I have a little bit of a problem with like taking Lexi as a comparison, because I think that deck is just like you insert that at any point in the past 2 years after like pretty much, gosh, I mean anything from the MST power block forward, I think Lexi's just not able to compete.
Forget
Right?
I'm old. Yeah, you're right. I did forget that was a long time ago.
Taylor, if it makes you feel any better,
Yeah.
that feels like yesterday to me, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I was thinking it was like
remember-
LL like last week. I was like,
Like
oh,
I
Lexi.
remember playing Oldham Lexi like it was yesterday, dude. Like
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I
That,
get
that
it.
one's on me.
I mean, so like I just think that the decks that existed back then are on a much lower power level. I totally agree. I don't know if I necessarily agree that Aurora was as low as power as that. I think Aurora was like where Lexi had on hits a lot of the time. Aurora's like Lexi's like average turns typically were something like 3 different on hits essentially at like four power breakpoints, where Aurora's is 4 breakpoints. All of them say draw a card because CLV's in play. They're all like 4 power Gogan attacks. So like that's just like not even close to the power level I think like
Yeah.
Lexi compared to it. So
I think my issue is that the metas are so contextual that you can't really say that the the power level is high or low, because the power level is determined by the meta that we're in. So like if you look at like a hero, like if you took New right now, she would destroy this meta.
Oh yeah,
Like,
New would be
yeah,
nuts. I mean, I think
but
all the MST heroes would actually be kind of nuts right now.
yeah, then if you take the set, the meta before that, they would all be dog shit. So it's like it's not high or low. It's just dependent on like what you are counting as high or low. Like if
MST
you
heroes would be bad in the previous meta. Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm saying that if you took like the good heroes from before the heavy hitter and put them in this meta, they would fucking get wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying that it's like it's so contextual to say that the power level is high or low. It's more contextual on is aggro good, is control good, is mid-range soup good? Because a lot of people will say the power level is high whenever an aggro deck is destroying the meta. But if you have a deck like Playdeez or if you have a deck like Gravy, you're going to say the power level is lower because it's less proactive and more reactive to what's happening in the meta. So it's that bad connotation that, oh, we're in a meta that the games go for 35 minutes, so it's a low power level. In reality, it's because the answers have finally caught up to the questions.
Not gonna lie, I've never thought about it the way that Taylor's putting it out, but I think he's completely right. Because you do make a really good point. My brain naturally navigates towards, oh, we're blocking more. The meta's slowed down. We have a weaker cards, we have a weaker meta, but it's like we don't. We have just added like more cards, and now like we have better defensive tools. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like we're no longer playing, and like the best thing that jumps to my mind is we're no longer playing Blue Brothers in Arms as a way to like make our deck
Yeah.
block efficiently. We are now
The-
playing cards that just block efficiently. And I'm sorry, Sam, I know you're a Zoomer dog. That's before your time, but like there was a time when that was a premier 4 block in the format, okay? And like I don't know. I actually think Taylor has like fucking nailed that.
Sorry, Sam.
Why? What? Sorry for what?
No, okay, but like if you like, so like the best deck, if you want to look at like Florian and how we want to view Florian, just take Felling of the Crown. It is the best 2-card hand I think possibly ever. If you can decompose it, it's a 2-card 11. That's not weak.
Would like a word.
That's a 2-card 9 that can be popped. That's like the worst case scenario. I watched that card literally lose a Pro Tour. I didn't watch Felling lose a Pro
Command
Tour.
and Conquer, baby.
But so like take that, because now that this 2-card hand is so broken, you have these 2 other cards that you can do with whatever you want with, which is going to be the best optimal thing is to block 6 or 7 if you have a D-Ract with it, and then throw the 2-card 11. And that's like, is that weaker than Aurora? No, it's just a different play pattern than what Aurora was doing. It's like, because the best card in the format is Felling the Crown. Kind of like Codex. When Codex is the best thing you could do is play Codex and play Leave No Witnesses. So that format looks that way because of that. That was the best thing to be doing with Uzuri. And so forth and so on.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm just not like,
If I play Sync and I block 3, that's 7 value, and then I throw a Felling, that's a 4-card 19. Is that better or worse than, like, let's say I'm playing Aurora and I go Lightning Surge from Arsenal, swing my sword, swing another thing, make an embodiment at the end of my turn, which is 4/2, 4/4 with a 4-card hand. That is 14 value with an embodiment. Is that better or worse than my 19 value Florian hand, but it forces me to block instead of attack? Because the power level looks weaker because I'm giving you cards and block, but that's because the power level of Felling the Crown is so much higher, which makes all the decks look more defensive. Because the best thing you can be doing is be playing these smaller hands.
I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with what you're saying. It's just, I think the context of these examples aren't exactly incredible.
I mean, of course, I mean, so like, that's weaker than like Art of War Zen.
Sure.
But that's because Art of War's gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like it.
So
I mean, are we weaker?
Do you agree with me? I mean, insane shit I said the other day.
I agree, but like, it's like it's not it's not dramatically lower power level. It's just that the format and the way that we've approached the game has changed. It's like
Yeah,
value
it
wise,
has.
we're actually way stronger than we used to be. Like on a hand to hand value, we're way stronger than what Zen was because Zen would just have non hands. That
Yeah,
doesn't
I
happen
mean,
anymore in these decks. Like these are just consistently valued decks. Like Icelander math has like taken over how decks are being formed.
I've
Like
I've
like
drawn
Arcane
the
Seeds, 0 for
double
6.
burn bear, double red hand before. I mean, like the hands are a lot more contextual now.
Yeah, they're more
Like
synergistic. Yeah.
you have to be online for these decomposes to happen. Like you could just start. I mean, these we're getting into the weeds on like bullshit examples now, so it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah, yeah. Come back and fight me.
yeah, we're just gonna be going back and forth for no reason the rest of this time we keep doing this. But I guess the point that I'm trying to drive home is that not necessarily that things are overall weaker. It's that things have reached a level that they can't overcome the base defense of these decks sometimes
Mhm.
consistently. There's a lot less consistency happening, and that's really I think the main crux of it right now. That you have a lot of these decks that could probably deal with the Pleiades deck if they had a more consistent answer rather than a shaky one.
What are your thoughts, Zach?
I mean, I coming into this conversation, I would have said, yeah, like we're powering down the format. Like I would have told you that just based off of like, we are blocking it as a mid-range meta. Like, and as weird as it sounds, I do think that like Victor is one of those decks that thrives in a mid-range meta, but Victor is also a deck that's like based around like maximum hand value every single turn between blocking and trying to throw like, opportune offense. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the way that you put it, Taylor, honestly makes a lot of sense. Like, that was very, very well put. That like defense has risen to the occasion, and that has not been the case for most of Flesh and Blood. Because I think there has been a lot of times where the offense has not been that great, and the defense has just been slightly better. Like a card like Crown of Seeds is a great example. Crown of Seeds is like an insanely broken headpiece, and so like the value of that is really good. But like I don't know. Like we are just getting better defensive tools over the course of the game, and Snatch continues to be one of the best chain enders we've ever had. So it does seem like more that like the answers are answering the questions in an efficient way now. So I mean, I would say
I think
no. Like we're just being
All right,
brought up to snuff, I
I
guess.
you brought
I
up Snatch, and I want to hear your like I brought this question up when we were just chilling at the Airbnb Saturday night
Okay, hit me
because I
with it.
thought it would be like a crazy card design that might not be broken, but it might also
oh
be
my
kind of
god,
broken.
this
It might also be kind of broken. So
Okay.
it's so
so
broken.
let's say it doesn't like the example I brought up was the most egregious form of this. So we'll just go with that. If they printed a card that was 0 for 4, go again, put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, draw a card, would it be broken? Or do you think that could fit? It's just a flip of Sink Below, essentially. It's got go again on it, so not quite, but the flip of Sink Below just on offense.
So you have a 0 for 4 with go again that also has a sink below effect from another card from hand.
Yes.
So you're
But you're in
allowing
the
an
middle of.
an aggro deck to have an unconditional go again piece and filter.
Yeah. I understand that the 0 for 4 go again is nuts. So just bear with me.
I mean, I'd play
Okay,
that.
okay. I'm gonna be real with you. It is legal in the state of Ohio. Before I mention this, I took an edible that night, and he mentions this, and he says this, and I have to process it for about 20 to 25 seconds, and I just look at him. I'm like, I'm so glad LSS has never hired any of us to design cards, man. That was the most ass design I've ever heard, dude. He said that, and I was
So
like, dude, that card can never be printed in any format ever.
I just feel like that would be like an auto include in every aggro deck ever.
Dude, I'd be playing that shit in Marlin.
So it's always a 0 for 4 with go again, but you may
saying,
sync, right?
Yeah. So I think like a more egregious or a less egregious version of this, sorry, would be just a head jab stat line with the sync effect.
It's still broken.
I still feel like that's
just take
crazy.
Marlin out of the equation. Let's forget Marlin exists.
But I don't think
Who the fuck is playing it?
I don't think you can do stuff like that. I mean, to be fair, like if you gave Syndra a head jab that said you may sink below, she jammed that card in her deck as fast as she could.
Florian would have jammed that in his deck.
There are so many decks that would play that because it's better than outed.
Yeah, it would be. So it has to be like restricted to like a class, I'm sure. But like this is the kind of stat line that you just like flip on offense. And like offense is supposed to be more powerful than defense. You're supposed to be able to end the game. So the conclusion I want to draw from this is like, is Sync Below the most broken card in the game?
No.
No. Because
like it's just nuts.
It's Awakening.
Well, legal cards.
I agree.
I guess that's stipulation.
Sync Below is like almost like I would argue like the perfect design for like a generic defense reaction because you have on average less cards that answer questions efficiently than ask questions efficiently, and cards like Snatch, Ravenous Rabble, Scar for a Scar are great examples of this. When we are now getting more and more, but we've had so few answers that as a defensive deck, you have to have the value to filter because you are forced to play this clunky, weird shit that doesn't always line up. And so I don't think there's ever a world where Sync Below is like the most broken card in the game.
Well, so here, hold on a second.
Okay.
So they're kind of, in a way, already printing this card. Okay, this is where the design. Shut the fuck up, Taylor. So you guys have seen the new Fi card that they spoiled at Worlds. The discard a Phoenix Claim. This is like a 1 for 4 that draws a card.
Yeah,
this is where my inspiration
but it's
for this
a 1
idea
for
has come
4.
from.
It's a 1 for 4.
I
and it says
that.
discard a Phoenix Flame. It doesn't say bottom any card from your hand and draw a new one and cost 0.
I just realized something, Zach.
Relax.
Okay?
No, Sam! No! You're comparing tomatoes and apples!
They're not that far off, though, right?
I know.
Like, they're not that far off.
They're very far. But second. It's not even comparable, Sam. Stick to your day job, like curing cancer or whatever you do. Second. Zach, I just realized what Sync Below is. Okay? I think the perfect comparison to Sync Below is Lightning Bolt from Magic. I think you can make a strong comparison of those two.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like
Lightning Bolt
generically
is a
good
staple of the game that fits into like aggro decks, control decks. It doesn't matter what you're doing; it fits
from set 1.
Yeah, fits all the roles, and that's what Sync Below does perfectly.
It is like the perfect analogy.
No wonder I love Sync Below. I never stopped playing Burn. That's what I learned right now. That's what Taylor taught me. And
Sam over here is trying to create like a 0 for 19 monster and be like, "Oh, is this better than Felling?"
What I'm trying to do is like introduce the concept of like a consistency piece for aggro decks that kind of like, because like if you want to play a deck, let's say just take 5 for example in the same vein here, and you have to run some amount of blues in order for the Emberblade combo to work, or just using Emberblade kind of period. Sometimes you'll draw an extra blue. If that was just another head jab, would it be broken instead of the blue? That's what this card is essentially doing.
I think what we need more complexity creep instead of like direct power creep.
Into that.
Like a good card that like I think about a lot is like a lot of like a Mocking Blow. I know that seems like a really generically easy card to play, but if you actually play it, it's very difficult because you have to kind of keep like this like rope, and you're actually playing to tunic lines and stuff like that. I think that's a good complexity card, while it looks like a really easy card to play. Like Oscilio is like the best analogy for complexity creep ever. It's like the way that you sell complexity creep, because if you watch an Oscilio turn, it looks unlike anything else in Fab.
I think it's just Wizard.
Yeah.
Wizards just operate on a different axis unless they're like explicitly Bullander type decks.
Yeah, I
Are
mean,
you?
but like that's like 2 of the wizards we've seen so far. I mean, that's like I mean, we've only had what 2 wizards LL and CC, and the first one was like fair math wizard
Yeah.
with like, Strider's combo finish or whatever, like,
Sorry, let me. I guess go. I meant that like turn to turn Bullander. Like Icelander and Verdant still do bullshit wizardy things. You still have Frost Hex combo. You still have H-Pot combo. You still have like bullshit complexity that they just do some nasty combo. That's just
Sure.
wizard decks, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Wizard is just where LSS gets to just like throw things at the wall and be like, "This is what Wizard is." And they're like, "What is it?" You're like, "I don't know, but it's Wizard." You're like,
I
"Okay."
mean, like all of the designs have been kind of like that. You've got Blaze, which is like a weird way that Kano works, and you got obviously Kano's Kano. Oscilio does this like crazy combo. It also interacts on layer 3.167 of the chain here, and you respond to every little trigger in the deck, so it's like bananas.
I mean, I've said this before and I'll say this again. Like, I think Acilio is where we want wizards to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Fragile, but yet strong.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's very fragile, like it is very powerful, and you also have a generic card that any deck can use to tech into it because it is a 0 cost blue with go again. You are like risking no block value, but you have tech pieces in generic that fit into the deck for it. Acilio is what you want from wizards. Like I will stand by that. Healing potion combo, ether wildfire, like frost hex combo, things like that are not healthy for the game. Like, and I get it, I'm saying that because I play Guardian and I'm just constantly losing to that shit over the last like 4 years of playing Flesh and Blood. But I don't think things like that are healthy. So I would like to see things like that gone.
Holy smokes! I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This podcast could do another 2 hours.
We could,
What's stopping you?
but we're not going to. I have to work
What?
tomorrow. So we're definitely not doing 2 more hours. Like, or
Only
ne-
1.5. We'll keep it easy for you.
I was like,
Anyway,
or
next topic.
you guys.
Yeah, that 2 hours and 23 minutes that people keep talking about.
Oh, dog, we're gonna have to like fit that into a Saturday recording or something, fam. Like, there's no shot that's happening.
It's the school night.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have school in the morning.
It's a school night, and I had to drive all the way back yesterday from Columbus. Your boy's tired. Your boy is
By
the way,
tired.
I know he doesn't
can
listen to the
commiserate.
podcast,
We
but
all,
thank you,
we
Aaron,
all
for
drove
driving.
back from Columbus yesterday.
Facts, though.
Oh, I just rode in the passenger seat.
I was like, Taylor probably
Yeah, fair.
slept and played on his phone, hung out.
That one is true. I did play on my phone. Also, I did have kangaroo meat yesterday and alligator.
Where the what? Where did
Yeah.
you go to do that? Like I was with you like in the alligator portion, but you said kangaroo meat. Where the
Yeah.
fuck are you getting kangaroo meat?
We went to some taco place, and on the menu is literally a kangaroo taco. It's just kangaroo meat on there.
Fuck is importing kangaroo to Ohio or wherever you were?
You bet your sweet ass I bought it.
I mean,
It
sure.
was kind of clammy. It was kind of it was like gummy. I was like, ugh. But at the same time, though, I was like, man, I'm eating kangaroo. I wonder, do you guys ever wonder if the pouch of the kangaroo tastes different than the rest of the kangaroo?
No, a thought has never crossed my
I
mind.
can tell you, until this very moment, I've never even meandered into that thought realm ever.
By the way, I want to thank Nate from Kung Fu Barbecue for bringing me and Zach some carrot cake. It was delicious.
Oh
Thank
my
you, Nate,
God.
for that.
I ate half of the cake at the convention hall. That was my lunch. And then,
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And then, in order to not die when I got home, because Carly loves carrot cake, I brought the other half home with me so she could try it.
It was my favorite thing about it too, by the way, is that he gave me 2 of them, so he knew that one of us wasn't going to day 2, and I love that.
I mean, dude, he was playing to the crowd. He knew us. He knew us.
Yeah, he knew what's up. So I want to thank you again for that. That was awesome.
No, it was a banger cake.
If anyone else wants to give us food, I am always down, and I will give you a fair review. I'll do it in front of you. You bring it to me. You're like, will you review my food? I'll do it right there. Just don't point to me.
Dude, are you just like walking around like, everybody knows one bite, everybody knows the rules? You just like turning into like Dave Portnoy or whatever his name is now?
Not exactly. I'm a little bit more liberal, but I like the idea.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you.
Anyway, if you've made it an hour and 20 minutes into the podcast, well, I'm sorry. You've probably made it about 50 minutes. We had to cut a bunch of Sam slurs out. Thanks so much for watching.
Was terrible. Whew. I had so many opinions, so many things to slur about.
I love Taylor's just gonna cut out the whole 0 for forcing below shit. Like, just cut out that whole thing. Like, that would be so funny. Oh,
I'm gonna do the editor's note like I did in that one episode and be like, we had to cut out a whole conversation about Sam's run that day. He called his opponents all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. If you've made it this far, like, follow, subscribe, all the buttons. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We call it a day right there.
That's it. We'll see you next week, guys.